either way, see if they can get it done as we jump on to Anubis. And Arcade, of course, going to be suffering some of the same situations as B&K, some roster changes that they've had to make as well, but handling it maybe a little bit better. And they're looking for the 2-0 tonight to start their campaign on the right foot at Season 48 of ESL Challenger League.
I mean, interestingly enough, I don't think Arcade has even played an official on Anubis. Definitely not in the last 3 months, and maybe not ever. So this will be an interesting one to go on. Must have some degree of confidence, though. It came down to those last 2 maps. Run boost into the site. That's spicy. And they bust it wide open. Triplus was not ready for that. Void's gotten a couple on the fadeaway, and we end into a 3-on-3 as versus Kangaroos. She's going to have to fall back, and B&K will get themselves a nice safe plant down here.
2 sets of dualies for the retake, though, could do a lot of work. Foggers has got a flash if he's room to toss that one in from CT spawn. It could come into play, and there it is, but doesn't seem to have really caused any issues for B&K. The dualies, however, are Apocdad is going to go down. It's a double setup in toward E-Box. Tap's going to be through there, and now Foggers finds himself alone, so 2 guns might be what is required to win this one, but even 2 guns couldn't save him there, so B&K winning that pistol, and they do it pretty comfortably in the end.
Grace just going to get the AK and armor going early. See if Arcade do go for the round 2 buy, or whether they will just save for the round 3 M4s and armor. Full save. So the Mac 10 is going to be wreaking some havoc here on Damien and all that, most likely. Oh, the Goosher Leon Brace has lost his AK off the bat. That is far from ideal. I'm sure one of the Mac 10 boys is going to come pick that up, but first pick lost to a big bridge stack and aggression. And after Arcade finds that first pick, they go with stack B. I really like that approach. They're just moving as a unit. They're going to start clearing out this B side of the map. As we can see, obviously, B&K is going to start creeping into A, but a 4-man flank on a decent timing could still find impact in this round and cause B&K a couple of issues.
It's really just going to be a case of how long does it take B&K to get into this A site. For Arcade, unfortunately, it's going to be pretty quick. So big old flank might not really come into play. If B&K get that plant down, they go into some decent post plants. It should still be their round now. Apocdad's floating around, not sure where he wants to necessarily end up. But the game has changed for Arcade from trying to win the round and maybe catch a timing on that big old flank to perhaps just catching 1 or 2 members on the exit, maybe get a Galil or an AK out of it. That would be a big win. B&K will exit safe though.
Yeah, I mean, despite losing that first pick, gonna head over to the beach, where, look, they're gonna get disturbed a little. There's a couple little streakers over there. I know that's one of Fogger's favorite activities, but he's feeling a little shy this time. He's gonna fall back away, not show too much more of himself, and just go for the M4 purchase in the next round here. So despite losing that opening pick, I mean, B&K only really loses Mac 10 and armor. Not too bad of a result, anti-eco there, and we'll get pretty quickly into the first gun round here. A lot of head armored players. Void chooses to buy himself head armor right at the last minute there. So just Foggers and Triplus, it could be a bit of a liability against the Mac 10 and Galils. A-main control being pretty heavily contested here from both sides. I mean, Cello with the util set invested in there. Kipstar also investing a bit of util, but has been denied info.
Yeah, nice work cycling the smokes here in E-Box for Arcade as well. Triplus trying to keep that one on lock. Brace has got a flash. Could be a pop flash into the E-Box there. Alright, Triplus is backed up on a decent timing, so he'll just duck in behind the wall as the push comes through and set himself ready and waiting for B&K. A little bit too telegraphed in the end. Being a 3-for-2 trade, Versa gets himself another. And it is not looking too hot for B&K in the first gun round of the map.
Yeah, but Still enough to reinvest, even if this round doesn't go well. Apoctad's going to give them 1-on-3 a crack, and every single rifle he could take away has impact. Versa very low here. Oh, he's got spammed a little bit through the smoke there. I don't know if Void's seen him off the back of that. Barrel poking around through Ninja. I don't know if Apoctad's seen that or not. Doesn't seem like it. Void's going to clean it up. So 3 alive. Yeah, for sure. 1400 for Wombat, 2.7 for Brace. Not the best money, but when you have someone who's double eco and 3 people can buy, this is probably just going to turn into a buy round. And indeed it does. Tech 9 up for Brace. And Wombat. A little bit lighter on the util than they might have liked. But still some reset potential on Arcade this early on in the piece. Arcade with a weaponry and a util advantage in this round though. A lot of progression smokes early on here to E-Box, B main, and A main. B and K very much trying to mask their intentions, which was a similar approach to what they had on the last map, actually, on Inferno. They love to throw prog smokes to top, mid, and B just to keep Arcade guessing about what they're doing, and then just use it as a bit of a mask to set up a set play. Is pretty much the exact same approach they're using here.
Bit of a slow progress being made by B&K. Giving Brace time to cause a bit of a ruckus in middle. Got over bridge. It's not a bad setup for B&K. Assuming Brace can get work done in mid. Re-aggression onto A long for Arcade, looking for info. Foggers will grab himself to double, but it's not really going to be enough to hold on to the site here. In fact, it kind of works out for B&K. They'll stream their way through and get the plan down. Brace holding close though with the Tech 9. Needs to do work now. Versus just found 2 kills out of nowhere. And so Apoctad, too much to do. It's going to fall, and Arcade claim their second from awkward looking circumstances. They make it look quite comfortable in the end. Yeah,
there's just a bit of a disconnect in that round from B&K. Like, they had Brace on the lurk through middle, and they had gotten a 2-for-2 in A main, and they were still throwing flashes into the site, clearing things out. This doesn't really feel like they have a great kind of sense or intuition about who should be where in some of these executes, and who they've killed, and where they should position themselves. Like, Brace wasn't really utilized on the lurk there at all. So definitely not the same well-drilled B&K that we're used to, but that's to be expected in these circumstances. I'm going to creep across bridge off the back of the tower boost from Damio. See if they can catch a timing here.
Hold on to Foggers. Oh, very well done. Does get that USP out for a little bit more chip damage, but it's going to have to come down to the trades to finish this round off, and that'll be Hipster to get it done. But yeah, despite a couple of players lost, still not a bad round for Arcade. They keep the trajectory going in the right direction.
I mean, they only had like a couple P250s in that, so taking 2 guns away, you'll take that. Still really anyone's game. Been a pretty competitive series. Another gun round coming in here for B&K. Bit of money built up over the last few rounds for Arcade, but nothing crazy. A couple good gun rounds in there for B&K, and they could be straight back into the swing of things. They've again thrown some progression util into A main and put Omichella into that pole position straight away. Great pick from Versa. Could see B&K after contesting A main wanted to go for some mid control, and Versa was ready there to punish.
For Arcade at the moment, until Brace is able to strike. A bit of a off timing for Versa in the end, and so mid's lost for Arcade, which is really awkward on Anubis. Just makes a very long rotation. And Triplus is going to have to kind of go looking to see where Brace has ended up. They wonder if maybe Brace crept further forward you know, going deeper into B&K territory. Obviously, we know that he hasn't. Arcade is starting to figure that out.
I mean, they've fit out all of A, so they're kind of on the flank / retake B approach, but they've lost Foggers already. Over on that A side of the map.
Plan's going down on B. No real issues with that. This might end up perhaps even being a wiser save choice for Arcade than an attempt at the retake. They are sticking around, seeing if they're going to get anything. There's a couple of chances in there, 1 or 2, but they've gone begging. Triplus is only good for 1. Kibstar has now kind of been baited into this, trying to win the 1v2. Good couple of shots on the Damio, but giving up so much of his HP, and bombs obviously planted for Brace, so unwinnable round in the end for Arcade. The scoreline's going to tie up once again.
Is Brace going to survive here? Should be alright. Yeah, more than alright. But Kibstar holding onto that AK is actually pretty big here. You can drop that over to Foggers or Versa and make a buy round of it. And with 4 guns being taken away from B&K, and only 1900 loss bonus, 1 player surviving on each team, this is a pretty big swing round for both sides. It's going to kind of dictate this half a bit. So 4 rifles and a deagle for Arcade. It's a solid enough buy to get the job done. Foggers' aggression across bridge, despite the fact that he copped about 50 damage on the spam from Brace. Finds the opener in a very key round here.
Damio's gone for a bit of an expedition, and he's going to be joined by Omicella outside of E-Box. Just going to be the B split in the end, but Arcade well set up to handle that. 2 players on this side. Triplus to take an early fight. Now Void has a little bit too much to worry about. He really needs the help from Versa to hold on to main, and it doesn't quite end up coming together for Arcade. That's perfection, really, from B&K. Everybody winning their duels.
Yeah, Omicella looking incredibly sharp on the entry there. 3 kills in a matter of seconds. One back clearing out the flank. And despite the fact that it started really well, with that opening pick from Foggers, the 4-on-5 crumbles for Arcade in a very important round. Pretty big missed opportunity. And with 4 alive for B&K, they're going to very much start to steady this T side.
Do have to bear in mind that pretty much the entirety of Inferno was back and forth as well, so not prepared to write Arcade off just yet. Obviously, this round may be a bit of a different story. Kibs has been able to hold on to the AK, so he might be able to get up to some shenanigans. Let's see where he wants to take it. So over toward A. Not going to go for anything too aggressive, really. It's interesting that Triplus would be the one to lead the walk out onto A long, given he's holding on to the Incend and the Flash, but has proved somewhat successful for Arcade. This is where it might start to fall apart, but tell you what, headshot from the USP or 2 and that'll maybe get the job done. Triplus does drop. It's still going to be numbers advantage with B&K, but Versus getting some good positioning, and Kibstar won himself an important duel against Damio. This is starting to get interesting. Foggers out from the smoke as well, just didn't quite land the shots he needs. Could have made for a very interesting round. Now Pop Flash out of E-Box and Kibstar completely white. Great work from B&K. Start to lock it in.
So just seeing if he can save the AK, find an exit, if possible, over on T-spawn side. But another pretty nice round from B&K. Epoch Dart heading on over here. Honestly, an exit for Versa and an ult picked up. That could be pretty nice.
I think he might just catch one. I'm not sure about that. Ooh, didn't quite. Good check from your Wombat. Further increasing the expense for Arcade in that reinvestment. But indeed, that is what it will be. So, gun show don't stop. Kibster has the AWP this time around.
Gonna be taking it over to that A side of the map. Oh, Epoch Dart just getting straight on the line. Punishing Void in the open there. Continue to go for more, but this time tried to buy Try Plus. So as the util settles into a 4-on-4, B&K trying to force the issue, but they have to bide their time for now. It's cutting sound. Multiple players over here. It was a B stack, but as they cut noise, all of these footsteps can be heard by B&K. And the big issue for Arcade is they just have no info on the map right now.
It's going to go down. Try Plus needed to win that duel, but wasn't prepared for a second player coming through from Evox, and doors open now for B&K. They're going to walk right in. Cover of smoke is going to be enough to allow the bomb plant down, and even then another opening pick going back for B&K. It's down to the 2-on-2. Still got that rotation coming through from Kibster. His position is known and difficult to entry into E-Box with an AWP like that. Had to give it a crack though. It leaves Foggers high and dry. He's going to chance to tap on the bomb, try to draw out a swing, and he'll get that from your Wombat. Aware that Brace is in E-Box, but not sure which side he's on. Eventually does spot him out, but time will get the better of Foggers here. And he's going to be happy with an AK as he makes his way out of the site, because that's another round for B&K. His T side is really starting to warm up now.
Fogger's going to retain the ult. Can give a bit more danger to what should just be a half by pistol armor around the ult. But yeah, B&K definitely on a roll now. Oh, they are actually going to buy up around that ult. MP9 coupled rifles, very limited util. Stack a bit more heavily towards B and try to fight for E-Box with just the ult posted up on the A side of the map. That is just not ideal.
No. Damien looking for more fights as well. Won't get him. It's a bit of a stack over on this B side of the map from Arcade. Perfect round for B&K to switch it up. They've been going B the last couple of rounds in a row, and now they're thinking about going A. Keeping Arcade on their toes.
Contact up on the line. Any util? That's jiggling. Jiggling was not good enough. Versa with the full belt of util behind this AWP info line. He's been able to double up. The middle of the map's been lost in the meanwhile, and Epoch Dart finding Void over on E-Box prompts the pivot. This will have to be monumentous from Kibster to hold down E-Box with an MP9. And surely the trade comes through. So B&K setting themselves up in a 2-on-1 to win the round unless Versa can get 4.
Doesn't really look like Versa wants to go for it, which is fair enough. It's kind of getting into that awkward territory in the half, though, where if you don't go for this, you're starting to let B&K run away with things a bit. Damned if you do, damned if you don't, but we'll at least retain the AWP through to the next round.
Terrorists win.
So AWP saved. Definitely don't blame Versa for going for the save in this situation. Pretty low HP after that exchange in A main. A nice little mid-round call from P&K. Keeping their options open. Not feeling like they had to just keep forcing things into A when it wasn't working for them. Versa once again going to go over onto this A info line.
Okay. That's a lot of shots and not a lot of damage being done. But Cockdart has dropped early on in the round, so maybe there's a sliver of hope in this one for Arcade. Foggers gets himself another opening kill on a half buy. Versa still obviously in play with the AWP, but not really in a hugely impactful position by the looks of things on A. Won't have a whole lot to do. The rotation coming through from B&K is going B. And there's no aggression around the map from Arcade.
Whoops, on the wrong side of the map, so unless there's some real sharp shooting on the pistols here from Triplus and Foggers with the Deegs, it's going to be very, very hard to defend this B hit.
Impossible, perhaps, might be a better choice of words there. Foggers will lose his head, and Triplus, again, stuck behind the smoke. It's a very similar setup to what we've seen B&K running a couple of times, and it's going to work out again. It's just looking more and more decisive as we continue through these rounds. And B&K are not really showing any mercy either. You know, they're not letting any of these rounds go by the wayside. Locking it down. That's a good shot, though, from Triplus to follow things up. And maybe starts to get a bit interesting off the back of that. Defuse is on.
it.
No one's checking. Michela finally gets in there. That was a 5-second defuse. I think they might have won the round, but...
It was.
Okay.
He had a kit.
Oh, did he?
Yeah, he had a kit. And he got on it. I think that's
He
one
was
of the
close.
reasons they tried to go for that flood defuse.
Well, either way, B&K will win the round, and... you know, losing a gun or two here and there for B&K is not really a big concern.
Yeah, double AWP into the last round of Anubis CT to try and scavenge forward. And I mean, yeah, hasn't looked like a particularly fantastic game of Anubis from Arcade. Don't think they've really played officials too much on this map. Oh. Oh, I just want that gift and sent to Kipstar every day. Mid control out here for B&K. Brace and Wombat having a little bit of a look into things. Bomb is still kind of sitting outside B, despite A main and mid being taken, so I don't think B&K's really made up their mind about what they want to be doing just yet.
It's a pretty good setup for an A take now for B&K, but Omi's just gone floating out onto A on his own. In the meanwhile, Brace is wrapping in through middle, waiting behind that smoke at the moment. We've got Versa on the other side of it, but actually the timing's been found here by Brace. He might be able to get in behind and open things up nicely, if not already being done by the rest of B&K. He gets a 1-for-1. It's all a bit messy at the moment. Double AWP to try to hold on to things, but it's actually just going to come down to A-Buck done, and Versa spams him through the wall. 8-4. Arcade will swindle that last round away. So into the second half, things are looking a fair bit better for B&K's time around. Arcade, look, they did manage to get that last round of the half, which has somewhat salvaged things. Moving on to the T side here, 4 rounds. It's enough to play with if you can get the pistol round win, and if you're a serviceable team on Anubis. But we do have to sort of find out whether or not that actually is the case for Arcade. We haven't really seen them play the map that much.
Two P250s dropped over. Aggression through E-Box and A main here. B&K very much kind of crossfiring the middle of the map. Pretty centralized approach, and the longer the Arcade take to get into B here, the more chances there are for kills on the flank. Kibsar seems to be kind of switched on that that's coming on in, but he still can't punish it.
A-Pop dot. Good for the 1. And the 2. Love to see it. He's got the backup of Damio here as well. They're going to continue that fight and try to open things up for Omi, who had the dualies. He had to get in there nicely alongside your Wombat for the pistol round there. B&K making it look pretty clean indeed, which further compounds the issues for Arcade.
Just a deagle purchase for Arcade here. No round 2 force, and it's, you know, not going to be that many opportunities, if any, on this T side to try and get into the game. And this round kind of been made difficult for them. Just a bunch of M4s, wide peek and E-box until the round's over.
Counter-terrorists win.
One gun
So look,
lost.
one gun taken away. Oh, the brace drop down bridge.
Ooh, got it.
How fast is he? Oh,
they
look
got
at
it.
that. Last second. They
That's the
got
most
it.
exciting part of the round.
That was thrilling.
After 10-4. So how do you come back from this as Arcade? It's going to have to be a damn good first gun round. Got a pause in there as well. Don't think it's a tack pause. I think this might be a tech issue. There was some tech issues at the start of the game, so might be popping up once again. Fair bit of chit chat going on.
I gotta say, might be another PC crash. You know, me and you, Jordan, we used to work in the studio. There used to be tech pauses, and I'm eating the same food that we used to order at that studio.
Just trying to relive the glory days.
And it's like a trip down memory lane. Tech pauses, hot chip and dip, you know. I'm living life.
Yep. Living your best life. Well, looks like we're going back on camps, Pilsy, so you can show us what you're eating. If you'd like to.
Look at that.
There you go.
We've got some
Just
eggplant dip, some hot
wonderful
chips,
looking meal.
some garlic sauce. Well, there is other food, but it's all I had time to grab in the break.
Do be like that a little bit when you're working, you know, when you work hard, such as you do.
It's a really difficult job I have, commentating video games, you know. But someone's got to do it.
Somebody does have to do it. And unfortunately right now, we're not doing it. We're actually just waiting for the game to start, so... do be like that
13-10,
sometimes as well.
Rooster DXA. So took 10 rounds and lost. There was a chance that that could have been another upset. And
Yeah.
the only other thing I'm kind of looking at is FlyQuest Furia just started. BO1, isn't that format's insane, no? BO1 Gauntlet.
Well, it doesn't make that much sense to have it down in the lower bracket, does it? Like, you'd have the BO1s in the upper bracket, you would think, and then have the decider elimination matches down in the lower bracket. That's what I would have assumed would be the case, but anyway, I guess that's just how they're going to do it, so they'll have to figure it out from there. But for now, we're going to take a break because we need to get everything sorted inside the server, so we'll be back when the game's ready to go. Luckily, it wasn't a very long break, so here we are. 10-4. Get straight back into the swing of things, and Kibster's back and ready to go. It'll be a pretty big round ahead here for Arcade. They need to win this gun round if they want to have anything to say about this second half.
How much util already? They're a bit used to deny info on E-Box and try to put some pressure on Mill. But they've got 2 smokes, a flash, and a molly to try to resolve this mid to late round. Fogger's in deep position over on middle, the rest of the boys grouping up towards A. Still a util set here for Omnichella, and he's going to use that to try to slow down this A push a bit.
Do like the position that Foggers has found himself in. To attempt to cut off some of the rotates. Or maybe even make his way in through camp. Cyclops and Foggers both able to strike. There's another one from Foggers. Sharp stuff. B&K will have to immediately now call the save. That round has just gone pear-shaped very quickly.
Yeah, I mean, Foggers was in the most important position and he made the play that was needed. Actually, given the amount of util that they had. Someone had to get a multi-frag, someone had to find a timing. That's exactly what happened. Another kill for Void, and this game has all of a sudden got some more legs to it. They needed a very clean first gun round, and that's exactly what they found.
Your Wombat's going to do his best to hang on to the rifle. Which is not a bad job being done at the moment.
Terrorists win.
Smoke should be just enough to keep him safe unless a stray bullet comes through. Just having a bit of a look for an AK there, but won't find one either way. 10-5, and B&K still have time to slowly work their way into this second half. And take a save round here. Off to buy in the next. It's nice to see Arcade being competitive.
I think they got a decent shot at making a bit more of a run back into this game. A quick one straight into B here. Plus getting in on the entry with the Mac 10. A lot of players here, actually, for B&K. The main one, the danger man, really, being Wombat in E-Box.
Doesn't look like there's going to be too much impact coming through, though. Yeah, so another quick one from Arcade. Get that over and done with. Love to see it. B&K straight back in for another gun round here, and it'll be where things do start to get a bit more interesting now. Because another gun round win from Arcade probably puts them at a 10-8 deficit. And that's really starting to feel doable at that point.
Orbs out for Apoc Dud. Can't say that we've really seen him have that much impact with it most of tonight, to be honest. Versa, on the other hand, quite the opposite, and that is going to continue.
Yeah, just took the fight straight into E-Box. Brace cop on the brunt of it. And now B&K are at a bit of a loss as to what to do. They're actually just going to completely give up the A site. Apoc Dud's going to rotate his way over to B. You've got two watching middle. The gamble stack may prove to be a good choice for B&K, though. Because Arcade are certainly looking in that direction, and they're committing to this B site as well. Smokes are going to go through. Versa gets another one. He's watching for the push over through mid. Now it's down to whether or not Apoc Dud could really get anything done, and he's got one. Damien would need 2 or 3. That will not end up happening, so Arcade are going to grab themselves another, and off the back of that, probably one more. And that scoreline is just growing ever closer dramatically. It's really not taking very long for Arcade to get through those rounds either.
No, they're looking very, very solid on the T side right now. Very much starting to swing the game back in their favor. Single save for B&K before they max out the loss bonus here. And as far as Arcade's concerned, really closing the scoreline gap and building up a strong economy to try to fight for this game win.
First is going to be set up for success once again. His AWP has been a big impact player for Arcade. It's almost would be better if they hadn't mollied that off. Instead, B&K will find a little bit more of a favorable timing for that peak. The AWP was not watching the angle anymore. Doesn't end up amounting to a whole lot. Yeah, a couple of frags. Apoc Dud runs Void down on the bridge. This starts to get a bit more interesting.
I mean, the damage is not really going to cause too much of an issue, to be honest. Apogdad gonna give this 1 or 2 a crack, actually. Creeping up on Heaven's side. Kipstar, with that molly on camera, feels safe enough to get into a disruptive position like this, and low HP. Even if it wasn't, the aim punch was definitely going to be a factor, and Arcade's going to clean up a bit messier of a round, but a round nonetheless. And with how solid their T-side money is, losing those extra couple of guns doesn't matter too much at this point.
B&K might be quaking in their boots a little bit now, though. That's such a huge lead. And now it feels like barely anything. And Arcade are playing with confidence as well. Triplus taking that pick into Evox.
Yeah.
Doesn't see too much, but you can tell that Arcade are backing themselves.
It's a lot of pressure on Evox early on, trying to force out a lot of CTU still, cause a bit of a reaction. They can be punished elsewhere. There's the flash to set up Foggers to start to make some inroads towards middle here. But aggression out over on B main takes out Void, and with the bomb over on that side of the map, Arcade's going to have to respect that, despite the fact that they found the timing into A. Foggers, huge pick. But with the look where the bomb is, Versus got to get on his horse and go get that. And the rest of the round in the meanwhile is going to be messy as hell.
This is trying to do it all by himself in towards middle. Look, there is time to go and retrieve the bomb, so that's all good. And honestly, don't half mind this decision to go over toward B. Kipster trying to lock down A on his own. Problem is he hasn't bought quite enough time there. If he would have gotten one more kill, that pretty much seals the round. Now, though, it is still hanging in the balance, and Triplus is going to try and find a timing in the middle. He will to perfection. Apop Dud wanted to rotate off and just gets stabbed in the back. Your Wombat has an extremely open plan to deal with as well, and Versus playing ring around the rosy with him on the site into E-Box. Your Wombat spotted out from behind.
Wow.
The gap is now 1.
Great resurgence out of Arcade. Very real potential of them picking up a 2-0 here today. This is probably the quietest game I've seen from Damio in many, many months. Usually a very consistent performer.
Continues to spray with the max 10, but actually cannot get the opening pick into E-Box. There was a sliver of hope in there for B&K when that occurred, but it has been swiftly ripped away from them. Arcade are going to equalize the scoreline, and they are playing, I would say, a much more threatening T-side than even what we saw from B&K. Like, B&K had a good T-side, there's no doubt about that, but it took them a lot of time to get through those rounds, but the pace at which Arcade are getting through their rounds is just seeming to stun B&K a little bit.
For sure. Playing with a lot of confidence, as you said. Not afraid to make moves on the map. Reading the rotations pretty well. Got to give respect where respect's due. Omichella just going to tap the bomb. Try to make someone stick around. If he had a kit, he probably would have had that, to be honest. Well, it wasn't the case.
Yep.
So 10-10. Big resurgence. What was that? From 10-4? 6 in a row now? That's huge.
It's prompted the timeout from B&K. They know they're in a bit of hot water now. Economy's going to start working against them on that CT side. They've got obviously a big string of rounds from Arcade as well, and an Arcade who are playing with confidence. Focus is having a lot of impact in mid. Dursa doing well with the AWP. And another lost gun round here could pretty much seal the deal for B&K in all the wrong ways. 2-0 tonight for Arcade. What a result that would be. So a lot riding on round 21. BNK have got to find a way to come alive on the CT side.
See if the attack timeout could be the difference maker. It actually kind of was on Inferno, although it didn't change the result. They really did start picking up some rounds after a key attack timeout on Inferno CT. B main pressure being applied quite heavily here by Arcade. Meanwhile, they're creeping through A main Void trying to find that pick. And it has pulled an extra rotation over to B. It's a 3-1-1. Retake A here from BNK right now. And info's been denied over on that A side of the map as well. Like, just so many moves being made in the early to mid round from Arcade.
He's well positioned to have an impact though. And he will cut down the first. Doesn't seem like it's going to scare Tri-Plus away from middle.
Yeah.
He's setting himself up on a pretty good timing here to catch Daniel in transition, but just not landing his shots, and so the round starts to fall apart as a result. As far as responses are concerned from Arcade, there's really not a whole lot to speak to. So he's still getting tossed into A, and Focus is now committed forward with the bomb. He's got one onto Omichella, but he desperately needs some assistance. Kibster needs to get in there. Versa the same. Got to try to find a way to push their way forward, but race around the corner here. 20 seconds left on the clock. It's going to be real problems. And you've got way too many members to look at there. So BNK win an important round, but it doesn't really get them out of hot water just yet. There is so much money for Arcade. They are going to buy this game out.
Yeah. And it's not like there wasn't potential there. Like, they lost opening pick, but let's be real, if Tri-Plus finds that pick on Damio, it's not as messy of a spray in middle. That round could have still got a little bit pear-shaped. Again, progression still and pressure towards the middle of the map and the B side of the map. Damio again, a bit of a liability. Loses the opening duel, which you'd back him to win, you know, 9 times out of 10 on a regular day.
Another 1-for-1. That'll be favorable for Arcade at the moment.
They've left the bomb in spawn again.
Brace is hunting for info.
I feel like them leaving the bomb in spawn has really messed with the timing on some of these rounds and thrown BNK off, you know? Like, the fact that 2 times they've had to go all the way back round to spawn before commencing their mid round is leading to some situations where BNK feels like they should be looking for info on that timing, and then they're just players holding for them, you know?
It's one good kill for Apoptad, but he knows he needs to do more, so he's going to try and get aggressive up over that smoke. Flash sets him up at Pizza. He gets himself a kill onto Kibster. Smokes at least allow the bomb plant. Molly might get the tickle onto Versa, but Foggers has now been spotted, and here is where Versa needs to activate. He has been the standout today for Arcade, no doubt about it. But a 1v2, almost must-win 1v2 if Arcade want to stay in the fight. He's just going to tuck himself in E-box. Turns away from the flash. Apoptad trying to get the kill with a pistol in hand, but the defuse is on. Omichella's sticking it, and Versa had no idea. I don't think he heard. Apoptad was charging his way into E-box when the defuse started. So 12-10 the score, and BNK might just do enough to keep themselves at least at a 1-1 scoreline for tonight.
I would say probably, but not guaranteed. They lost all their guns there and only 2.4 loss bonus. If Arcade can win this gun round, they will actually break the CT money and push us to OT, potentially. So I would say not done and dusted just yet. There's still potential here. Oh, juicy nade there from Void. Bait setup over on the pillar though. Molly going to push these CTs out of position, pushes Omichella forward, and he gets popped. Oh, what? All white from a flash, still takes 2.5 with him.
Yeah, that's unreasonable. Race does a A lot of damage to Tripod, but can't actually get that finishing blow. This could still go the other way if Apoctard can't swindle another 1 or 2 kills right here. Am's nade isn't going to be good enough. Apoctard has got it done this time around. 13-10 for B&K. And Arcade let slip map 2. There's no question about that. Grace is just being chilling there in all Wombats.
that was
Profile
Wombat's
picture.
picture. Just chilling with the coconut. Bloody hell.
That's how it be when you win 13-10.
I mean, yeah, he was kind of big chilling because I'll tell you